What is up, YouTube? In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to replace your bypass valve on a 10th gen Civic, any Civic with the 1.5 turbo engine platform. This video will apply to you. Before we get into the replacement, I just wanted to go over a few things with you guys. So first off, some symptoms you might be noticing if you need to replace your bypass valve is a Christmas tree of check engines lights, which I am currently experiencing. And you could also be noticing maybe more backfire in between spirited shifts and more significantly more turbo lag. So your boost is loading in higher RPMs than it should be. So typically having your boost kick in around 2500 RPM. But for me, it's not really kicking into boost till about 3500 RPM. Or you will be in essentially a limp mode and your turbo won't be loading any boost at all, which I also am experiencing intermediately. So these are some telltale signs that you need to replace your bypass valve, which is located right here on the passenger side of your intake. And before we get into the replacement, I also wanted to go over the difference between a bypass valve and a blow-off valve, and the pros and cons of each and which one you should potentially get for your Civic. So I went ahead and I'm upgrading to a Boomba bypass valve, and I went with Boomba because it's made out of a little bit more durable material over OEM, and they have a good track record and potentially could offer a more aggressive turbo sound as well. And there's plenty of bypass valves, aftermarket options out there. Another one I seen that seemed tempting to me was the 27 WAN bypass valve, but that one required some recommended maintenance, re-lubricating it after every 10,000 miles. So that's why I went with the Boomba one instead, since it's theoretically just bolt on, leave it, and it should just work. So seems a little simpler and easier to me, and I like the idea of just putting it on and it works permanently. So if you don't know the difference between a bypass valve and a blow-off valve, a bypass valve will retain your boost instead of releasing it to the atmosphere in between shifts. So the benefit of that is you will have less turbo lag. A blow-off valve will release your boost into the atmosphere in between shifts, so you don't build too much pressure and blow up your engine. The 1.5 turbo platform comes stock with a bypass valve. Some people question if they should continue using a bypass valve or potentially upgrade to a blow-off valve. If you want longevity and overall the best performance, you're going to want to stick with a bypass valve because your car's stock tune is set up to utilize a bypass valve, so it's going to work best with your car's stock tune. Additionally, your boost isn't going to be released into the atmosphere, so you're going to be having less turbo lag, which if you don't know what turbo lag is, it essentially is the amount of time it takes for your turbo to spool up and load in the boost. So obviously the quicker you're getting boost, the better performance you're going to be getting in terms of street racing or your 0 to 60 time, whatever you're prioritizing personally. Now you can get a blow off valve for these, but there is some cons to it. So essentially you will have more turbo lag, since it will be releasing your boost into the atmosphere, which will hurt your performance slightly. And also, these cars aren't designed to have a blow-off valve, so in between shifts, your car will experience a rich air-to-fuel ratio, which could potentially clog up your cat prematurely. So if you want longevity and overall performance, just stick to a bypass valve. If you want the loudest turbo sound or flutter, then you would get a blow-off valve. But for me personally, I care more about my car's longevity and performance over turbo sounds. Although blow-off valves sound very nice, they're cool, you know, you can get that flutter and it's going to be more loud and aggressive a turbo sound. But if you get a nice intake like the PRL intake, you can increase your turbo sound just through that without hurting the performance. So my personal recommendation is sticking with the bypass valve over switching to a blow-off valve. Now they also do make hybrid ones, so basically it does retain some of the boost and it also releases some into the atmosphere. So you're getting a little bit of best of both the worlds with that. A little bit of loud turbo and still retaining a lot of that boost, but still you probably would have a slightly less better performance going with a hybrid over just sticking with the bypass valve. And with all that out of the way, let's get into the installation. And this is very simple to switch these out. So like I said, the bypass valve is located right here on the passenger side of the intake, and you can unplug these wires right here to get a little bit more room to replace it, but I think that's going to be unnecessary, honestly. So basically, we're just going to remove this rubber hose because Boomba did provide a new one with this bypass valve and the sticker as well. So shout out to them for the free sticker. So we're just going to use some pliers. We're going to pinch these tensioners, pull them up, and pull this one down so we can remove this rubber hose right here. A little better view of that bottom tensioner, and then this one on the top. I got the bottom tensioner moved up on the hose and the top one moved down to the middle, so now it's not having any tension onto the metal tubes connected. And you can just use a little flathead screwdriver like so, and you can use one hand to pull on it and then the screwdriver to kind of help wiggle it off. Oh, I was able to just do that without using the other hand. Don't lose the tensioners either because I'm going to reuse those. I'm just going to take those off now. And then don't even have to remove this off the bottom really, because we're going to put the new hose on anyway. But then you're just going to take a 8mm, and I found it easier just use a smaller ratchet to be able to get in here. You're going to have 3 8mm bolts, one there, and one right there. So 3 in total. We're just going to loosen that, and we'll be able to remove the old bypass valve. Got the old one removed, and the internal piece was actually stuck onto this. So if that happens to you, you're just gonna take it out. It just has like a spring in this thing. Might have been part of the reason why this wasn't working properly. But hopefully that was the issue. It's a little corroded as well. Set that aside. And I just took a shop rag and cleaned up the mating surface for the new one. So we'll get that aligned like so onto it and get her tightened down. Got the new bypass valve tightened down and seated into place. I just hand tightened them and then went around and tightened them the rest of the way with the ratchet, and I would just have it nice and a little firm. Don't go crazy since you are screwing these bolts into plastic. So now we're gonna go ahead and attach the hose, and we'll just slide on both of those tensioners and then slide it onto that bottom metal nozzle right there. Got the hose installed. As you can see, I switched from the tensioners to just some little zip ties. Good old zip ties, because I couldn't get the tensioner over this bottom outlet. It might have a slightly wider diameter, or this hose could be a little bit thicker. So I just didn't feel like struggling with it. So just went with some zip ties. Nice, simple, easy, and it will get the job done. First startup. Oh, check engine lights went away. That's a good sign. Let her warm up for a sec and then go on a test drive. Right. Second gear out in Mexico. So honestly, the turbo sounds quieter to me, but maybe it's because the bypass valve is actually working correctly. But this is with the Boomba Bypass Valve and PRL cold air intake. After troubleshooting some, we came to find out the solenoid that controls the bypass valve was actually the issue, and it was the pigtail that plugs into it. This positive wire, or negative, I'm not sure which one it is, was ripped off. I tried to repair it, but it was just too short of wires left here, and I didn't want to worry about trying to solder it. I tried to order a new one from Rock Auto, but they sent me one that didn't fit. I went to a junkyard and I took this off of a Sport and I tested it and it plugs in. It should work. It's another turboed 1.5, so it should work. But I was reading online that other people have had issues with that. I think the code is P0035 being related, because that's like an electrical code, not just for the bypass. It's for the bypass valve, but it's like electrical related. So if you have that code, then you should check this pigtail right here on this solenoid and check the wires and make sure the connection isn't corroded. But it's in a high heat area. But I got the wires prepped, and I'm gonna use these butt connectors to connect the new pigtail. So just do that right now, and hopefully this will fix the issue. And I'm also thinking we didn't really get a good interpretation of how this affected the turbo noise that much, because soon after doing a pull, she went into limp mode again. So she probably just wasn't getting full amount of boost or regulating it properly, would be my guess. And I'm just taking the copper part of the wire, strip back the rubber coating around it, and then put this butt on it, and you just smash it. And then should be good to go. So white wire with white and green with green. Oh, I'll have to cut off some of this tube. I snipped off some of that protective tube. There's a specific word for it, but I just don't recall what it's called. Oh. Give it a little tug. Make sure it's good. Just a guy not trying to spend thousands of dollars getting a new wire harness. Just a dude sticking some electrical tubes in a different plastic tube. Gosh damn it. Team's burning again. After a few attempts, we got her securely connected. Come on, do your thing. Freaking heat shrink, dude. I'm applying direct heat, dude. Direct flamage. How to set her ablaze. Use a heat gun to do this too. Just a lighter because I thought it'd be easier. I don't burn my hand. These wires are so small though, I don't think it's gonna have like a perfect seal. But a little bit's better than none. I forgot to put this clip on, but it's okay. This clip's kind of crap anyway. I'll just zip tie it. Zip ties are goated. They're always better. And that's how we're looking. All good. I actually decided not to zip tie this down because this seems pretty good how it is to me, and I don't want to put more strain on the wire by having it like fastened down right there. Might be why they freaking break so easily. Yeah, we just got it totally covered in electrical tape. I triple layered that crap.